Comparisons of bootstrap methods for confidence interval estimation under the log-normal distribution. This presentation will start by introducing the problem statement and motivations for the project. Then we will discuss the methodology, a summary of results, and an example of a practical application of the findings. Accurate estimation of confidence intervals is vital for making inferences about populations from sample data. Traditional methods assume normality, which doesn't always hold for log-normal data and can lead to inaccurate intervals. This inaccuracy is a challenge for fields that often encounter log-normally distributed data, like finance and environmental studies. While transformations can help normalize log-normal data, they can also cause more issues with inaccuracy than they solve. This study evaluates bootstrap methods directly on log-normal data to identify which one provides the most accurate confidence interval while preserving the data's natural skewness and variability. The three bootstrap methods that this study evaluated were the percentile method, which is flexible and robust because it does not assume any underlying distribution, the bias-corrected and accelerated method, which is adaptable to various distributions and adjusts for both bias and skewness, and the basic method to establish a baseline for comparison. Sample data were generated for 3 scenarios of a log-normal distribution with varying combinations of mean and standard deviation to evaluate the effectiveness of the bootstrap methods. Scenario 1 represents a dataset with moderate skewness. Scenario 2 represents a dataset with the same mean as Scenario 1 with a higher degree of skewness. And Scenario 3 represents a dataset with moderate skewness but a larger mean than the other 2 scenarios. The Monte Carlo simulations generated 1,000 random samples for each scenario to allow for detailed comparisons of the bootstrap methods under varying sample sizes to represent a range of data availability from scarce to abundant, and confidence levels to evaluate the robustness of the results. The methods were then applied to estimate confidence intervals for the mean using 500 bootstrap resamples. 3 metrics were recorded to compare the performance of each bootstrap method. The first is coverage rate, which is the proportion of simulations where the confidence interval contained the true mean. Coverage rates should ideally match the confidence level, with higher coverage rates indicating greater accuracy. Next is median interval length, which is the median width of the confidence intervals across simulations. Median interval lengths indicate the level of precision, with shorter lengths indicating higher precision. Lastly, the combined indicator, which is a metric designed to balance coverage rate with median interval length and give an idea of overall performance of each method for comparison purposes. Higher values of the combined indicator suggest better performance. Overall, the percentile method produced the shortest intervals across all scenarios and sample sizes. This higher precision makes it particularly advantageous in medium to large sample sizes with moderate variances. The BCA method performed well in terms of coverage and interval length across sample sizes and scenarios as well, though it did not consistently lead in either aspect like the percentile method. That said, the BCA method's bias correction was beneficial in providing better coverage rates with smaller sample sizes in scenarios with high variance, such as Scenario 2. The basic method offered a steady baseline for comparing the other 2 methods and performed well with large sample sizes, but is less preferable in high variance scenarios due to low coverage rates. While this evaluation of bootstrap methods for the log-normal distribution was mainly an academic exercise for the author, the insights gained have practical application in fields where log-normal distributions of data are common. Let's explore a specific example of how these findings can be applied in a real-world scenario. This data scenario investigates the concentration of a pollutant called xylene in a river over 20 days. Xylene is a volatile organic compound commonly used in the production of plastics, paints, and other industrial products. Let's say that local safety officials have issued a no-swim order for the time being, just as a precaution to limit human exposure to dangerous levels of xylene in the water. Before they can lift the order, they need to estimate the mean concentration to determine if it exceeds safe limits, which is about 40 milligrams per liter. The first few rows of data are shown here, and we can see significant variation in concentration from one day to the next. This high variation is due to the river's current flow, which prevents a homogeneous dispersion of the pollutant throughout the body of water. The multiplicative nature of this dilution and its dependence on flow rate causes the concentrations over time to be distributed log-normally. Since this data is log-normally distributed with high variance, is a smaller sample size, and safety is the primary concern, the findings from the study suggest using the BCA method to maximize coverage on bootstrapped confidence interval estimates of the mean. High coverage ensures that the true mean concentration is likely to fall within the estimated interval, providing a reliable assessment of xylene levels in the river. This high coverage comes at the expense of having wider intervals, which may be less precise, but an abundance of caution in this context can provide crucial information to the local officials and prevent them from prematurely lifting no-swim orders and risk exposing the public to dangerous levels of xylene. The implications of this study provide tools for selecting appropriate bootstrap methods tailored to the qualities of datasets, informing decision-making in water ecology and many other fields that frequently encounter log-normal data. By understanding which methods perform best under different data conditions and behaviors, researchers and practitioners can make reliable inferences based on their statistical analyses, ultimately leading to better decision-making and outcomes in their respective fields.